Thank you Raid Shadow Legends for sponsoring this video. Cooking steaks is always a winner in any party. That is a fact, especially when you get amazing results. But for the holiday season, the real king is always prime rib. I mean, there's a good reason why. That is just mouth-watering. However, today we're going to be doing something completely different, as I got this inspiration from Grilled, and that is to cook this insane prime rib using a primitive style. And the goal is to find out if this is a good idea or just a complete disaster. So let's do it. And everything starts off with the bones. As you can see, this is what they call the canoe style. And that's just because they split the bone in half and you can clearly see the bone marrow. But if you look a little closer, you will notice there are actually some blood inside. Now, if you don't remove this, your bone marrow will have a very strong flavor, and a lot of people find that overwhelming. So if you want to have a good experience, I recommend taking it out. And to do it, it's pretty simple. In a large container filled with water, I just throw in some salt. You want to make that water really salty, just like the ocean. And one important thing is to ensure that the salt is completely dissolved. Once that's done, the only thing left to do is to throw all of the bone marrows in there and make sure they are all submerged. Now the only thing left to do is to put it on your refrigerator so that the brine can do its magic. Usually that takes 24 hours. The very next day I took it out and take a look at this. As expected, the brine worked like a charm and most of the blood is completely out. And as I take them out, they are as white as it gets. That right there, my friends, is exactly what you're looking for. But I'll tell you one thing, even though it took out most of the blood, there's still a little bit left. There's no way for you to take 100% out. But that's fine with me. Since our bone marrows are now ready, it's time to prep the star of the show. And this is a 4-bone rib roast. That right there is the king of the holiday season. And to prep it, the first thing I like to do is to remove most of the outer fat. Now there's a very good reason for this. If you want a lot of flavor in your prime rib, this outer fat must go. If you don't take it out, you will not be able to season it properly. And one of the most important things to do is to make sure your prime rib is seasoned well. And I highly recommend removing almost all of it. Now the next thing to do to put even more flavor on this is to start removing the bones. You don't want to take it completely apart, but at least take 90% off. As you can see, once I was done, this is what it looks like. Now the awesome thing about doing this is that it will allow me to season it well. Talking about this, the first thing I like to do is to dry brine it. And as you already know, that's a fancy word just to say put salt on it and let it rest overnight. And this is a big hunk chunk of meat, so it is important to season it well. I made sure not only to season both sides but also the edges. The wonderful thing about using dry brine is that it will allow the salt to penetrate nicely and deeply into the meat, of course making it 10 times better. Now the only thing left to do is to set it on a cooling rack so that it can rest on my refrigerator overnight and dry brine. And that is perfect because it allows me time to go ahead and prepare a side dish. And nothing goes better than potato and beef. For today, I'm using these gold potatoes. I actually think that they have a much better flavor than any other. To prep them was very easy. I just started by cutting them in half. And if you find pieces that are not good like this, just remove them. Now the next thing to do is to throw them in a bowl and get them perfectly seasoned. And to make sure that my seasoning will stick, I like to start off with olive oil. I made sure that every single one of them was perfectly coated so my seasoning will stick. Talking about that, I started with a little bit of salt, followed by freshly ground black pepper, garlic powder, smoked paprika, and a little bit of Korean chili flakes. Now there's left to do is to mix it well, and my potatoes are ready to be roasted. Now here's my thought. As I'm cooking the prime rib together with the bone marrows, most of the drippings will fall down. By putting the potatoes right underneath it, it should catch all of that goodness. And I'm hoping a lot of that bone marrow will melt into the potatoes. Now I have no idea if this is gonna work, but we're gonna find out together. Talking about that, after dry brining my prime rib overnight, this is what it looks like. As you can see, there's no sign of salt. That is because it penetrated nicely and deeply into the meat. Always use this method for large cuts. To add even more flavor to my prime rib, I decided to use Guga's rub. The wonderful thing about this rub is that you can make it at home yourself. And if you have not seen that video, make sure you check it out in the description later on. Removing 90% of the bones allows me to go ahead and season this thing well. This is the best way to put more flavor in your prime rib. Now to make this a primitive style, aka caveman style, is to add in our bone marrows. And that is something you do not see every day. To make sure that they're not gonna fall out on me during the cook, I decided to tie them up. It is not a big deal, you just gotta use butcher's twine. But once I was done, this is what I was left with. That right there put a smile on my face. But at the same time, I don't really care how it looks. I'm wondering how is it gonna taste. So for that, I'm gonna be first cooking it in indirect heat using my smoker. I'm shooting for an internal temperature of 115 degrees Fahrenheit, and for that, I'm gonna be using my wireless thermometer. Once that's done, I'll be taking all of the bone marrows out and using my flamethrower to ensure I get a perfect crust. So now I say, it is enough talking and it is time to cook this insane prime rib. So let's do it. Before moving forward, I want to thank today's sponsor, Raid Shadow Legends. If you are not familiar with Raid yet, basically, you collect some champions, build up a team, then fight some bad guys until you get to the boss. Power up your champions, collect new champions, and move on to fighting even more powerful enemies. Let's go ahead and open some Asian shards and try to get some epic champions. First one. I already have her, so I'm going to use her to power up another champion. Next. Yes, epic. What? What's up with this guy? I like his look, but he kind of freaks me out at the same time. Have I ever mentioned how much I appreciate the design of these characters? Look at the amount of details they have. You can see the wear and tear marks on the paint of his armor. You do not see that kind of attention to details in just any mobile game. And the last one, a very good champion for a clan boss, but I already have her, so this one is gonna be food. Raid is constantly bringing new champions. Look at the concept arts for some of the ones they are currently working on. Look at this chameleon guy. I can't wait to see what they're all about. Go to the video description, click on the special link, and if you are a new player, you're gonna get 100,000 silver, 1 energy refill, 10 mystery shards, 1 free champion, slasher. I mean, take a look at this guy. Do you need me to tell you he's awesome? All of this will be waiting for you here. Thank you, Raid Shadow Legends, for sponsoring this video, but now it's time to go back and try this crazy prime rib. All right, everybody, here we have our beautiful feast today, Mama.
That's a feast.
I know, right?
Wow.
Guys, we are in the middle of a storm, and I hope you guys enjoy the nice, calm rain because things are about to happen. So we got to eat this up, and we got a lot of people in the house. That's why we made this feast. Now, here's the deal. I will say one thing. I have no footage of searing the bone marrow, and that's for a good reason, everybody. So I asked my good cousin, Mauzinho, as I'm slicing this beautiful, wonderful thing, I said, Mama, go outside and help me out, put it on the tray, and I'll sear it. What happened, Mama?
I understood. Mama, put this outside on a tray and sear it.
It's all good. It's all good. Mama, I think Mama was a little bit too excited to use the flamethrower.
Hey, it's making my mouth water every time I look at it. So, and then the flamethrower, it's always fun.
I know, right? You cannot help it, everybody. There's nothing more fun than the flamethrower because you put the crust you want. You know what I mean? Versus you choose the amount. You basically painting with fire.
Exactly.
That's what it is.
That's the most fun part. Most fun you can have with fire.
Exactly. All right, Mama. We got a lot of things. What do you want to try first? There's too much to try.
I don't know.
Let's go with the beef. Huh? How about that? So what I did was I surrounded all of the bone marrows around the whole thing and I roasted it. So we want to know if there's a little bit of bone marrow flavor.
Oh yeah. Yes.
Obviously, it's not going to penetrate all the way deeply, but the crust, it should give a little.
If it has a little extra something on the crust.
Yeah,
that's what it was.
That's a plus for me. Now, if you are wondering that the bone marrow melted all the way, no, it didn't, everybody. Not everything is melted. It's still right there. Obviously, Mama put a nice crust on it without you guys seeing it. Yeah, Mama?
It's okay. It's okay. You guys are going to find out how delicious it is anyway.
That's what matters.
Yes.
All right, let's go ahead and try, Mama, before this hurricane passes by.
Right.
There's nothing better than eating on a nice rain. You know what I mean?
It's relaxing and enjoyable.
I agree. All right. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Wow.
Wow.
So tender. And I put a huge piece in my mouth, and it's so tender.
You chew on it and it just dissolves away.
I feel an amazing flavor. I think the bone marrow actually did something there. What do you think, Mama?
It did something. It definitely did something there. It doesn't change the. It's not like putting umami powder on it,
Right.
Or dry aging. It's nothing like that. It's just a little coat of extra flavor on top of this thing.
I agree 100%. It gave an amazing, wonderful flavor on that crust. I want to try it with the potato. Here's the deal with the potato, Mama. What happened was, as the bone marrow and everything was, the fat was rendering, the potato was right on the bottom. So it should catch a little bit of those juices from the meat and the bone marrow. Now
So
here's the deal.
It's a marrow potato.
That's right. A marrow potato. Cheers, everybody. That's a very different potato. The flavor, smoky, smoky, and I can't believe I'm about to say this about the potato. It's a fatty potato. Huh?
Whatever seasoning you put it around it too, it's like it goes really well.
Yeah, the seasoning is amazing.
And the fat makes like a little crust on top of the
Yeah.
felt.
Yeah.
So-
it makes a little hard crust.
It's a little harder crust than the rest of the potato.
Not like
Really, really nice.
not like fried potatoes,
No,
but you
yeah,
know,
it's a little
something.
something.
Now I am super excited to try the bone marrow. Yeah, look at my. I don't know if you guys know, but everyone in my family, everyone loved the bone marrow. So doing something like this is where you can prepare everything at the same time and have the family enjoy it. You know what I mean, Mama? So that is the way to do it. Now, obviously, I like mine with a little bit of bread. You have to have a nice crusty bread. If the bread is too soft, it's not going to be the same.
No, soft bread is not good.
Yeah, and check it out. That's crusty, everybody.
It's a little crunchy.
Yeah. Yeah, look at that, everybody. I mean, come on. I mean, come on, bone marrow, man.
Wow, I wish I had a camera over here so you guys can see what I'm looking at it right now.
I'm gonna try to do one for you guys right now to see it inside after I take it. That's what it looks like, everybody. This is bone marrow. If you've never had it, you gotta give it a try. You will not regret it, I promise you. Oh, you're gonna go all natural.
All natural.
Go. I want to see before.
Cheers.
Go, Oma, you tell us. It's like eating fat butter.
Not even.
Huh?
Wow, it's. Oh my God, it's been a while since I had it just like that.
Is it good, bad, ugly, or amazing, Oma?
Oh, it's amazing.
It's very easy to understand in 3 words. Butter of the gods. That's all I gotta say. Nothing else to say.
4.
Oh, that's right. 4 words.
It's like a gelatin almost, but with a beefy flavor. And when you put it in your mouth, when you touch your tongue, it just starts to melt already.
Yes.
And then there's nothing for you to bite. So if you just squish it with your tongue, it just
Explodes.
explodes and dissolves on your mouth and coats your whole tongue.
It is amazing, everybody.
Wow.
Bone marrow is amazing.
The first time I saw you doing this,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, like, really?
It looks weird, right?
It looks weird.
I know, I know.
It didn't smell good back then because it was a different smell than I,
Yeah,
I
you're
usually
not
know.
used to it. And sometimes, it's bone, so it does smell different. That's why doing the salt brine really, really helps as well.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, these are the results. As you guys can hear, the rain is getting a little bit harder. People are asking me to go inside and give them a little bit of this wonderfulness. That's gonna happen. And I gotta do it kind of quickly too before my mom eats the whole thing. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do enjoy, make sure you give it a thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber, be sure to subscribe for future videos. Remember, if you are interested in anything I use, everything's always in the description down below. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye. We out.